So the session is being recorded, and we ask that participants keep both your audio and video off during the presentation portion of the session, and then this will help protect the bandwidth and hopefully prevent potential issues with lagging. We have several great internships to hear about, so we're going to get started. Our three featured intern presenters are Brittany Joseph, who was the intern at the Acadiana Regional Coalition on Homelessness and Housing in Lafayette. We also have Juliana Hare, which was a dual language student intern at Fairview Elementary School in Lake Charles. And we also have Myra Patum, who was a financial literacy intern at the Doris and Clara Community Initiative in Jennings. So we're going to begin by viewing their video reports that they prepared for us. And then after that, we'll have a Q&A that will allow us to be able to ask questions about their experiences.
Hi everyone, my name is Brittany Joseph and I did my internship at the Acadiana Regional Coalition on Homelessness and Housing, ARCH, in the spring of 2022. ARCH is a regional coalition that does direct service care as well as grant funding for nonprofits in the Acadiana area. They are also a COC, which is a continuum of care that strives to provide emergency shelter, transitional housing, and permanent housing as well as social services for families and individuals. They do this through their homelessness prevention program, their rapid rehousing, their hotel shelter, and their share house. Their homelessness prevention program are for people who are currently housed who are on the verge of losing their housing in the next 14 days. Their rapid rehousing is for someone who is currently homeless and you are trying to find them housing, setting up their utilities, and you're doing payment assistance for the utilities and the rent for as long as 3 years or until they're stable. Their hotel shelter program is for someone who is currently homeless and you are trying to find them housing. Their share house is a donation center where they have gently used household items and they give those items to clients who don't have any when they found their permanent housing to move into. The goal for my internship is to learn all the processes and procedures that go into working with a community-based agency. I will do this by learning all the resources that are available within my community for individuals and families. Next, I want to learn how to better identify the needs of an individual and family to better help them be successful. And third, I want to learn more about the grant working process. I did this by watching videos hosted by Arch. Arch does two monthly meetings. One is members only, and another is a Facebook Live. They talk about issues of homelessness and housing in the Acadiana area. Next is accompanying case managers to visit clients. They do intake interviews. They're going to discuss paperwork with the clients about the resources that they can have, things like food stamps, Social Security, disability, Medicaid, Section 8, or just a monthly check-in to see how they're doing, see if they need anything. Third is attending office meetings. In these office meetings, they discuss the finances, how that's going, and it's a space for case managers to address any problems or issues that they have, and for the other case managers to be able to help them. The last thing I did was collecting and organizing paperwork dealing with funding. Next, I want to highlight the brochure I made for Arch. It has a brief history on Arch. It has the 8 parishes that they cover. It also talks about the share house and things that can be donated to the share house, or if you want to volunteer at the share house. And there's also a side right here that has if you need help with housing, if you have domestic violence issues, or if you have issues with suicide, they have all the numbers that you can call. My next artifact highlight is my infographic. It is a fact sheet about Arch. It has their mission statement, their programs, a little bit about their share house, their accomplishments, and a few facts about 2021 on the number of people that they sheltered and housed, and about their partner agencies, their donated goods, their volunteer hours. Okay, next I just want to talk about my experience at Arch. For me, Arch was a really great experience. I gained a lot of knowledge about working within a community-based agency as well as working with other community-based agencies. I also saw the hardships that individuals and families face when they lack safe, affordable, and decent housing. And I also learned about other community based agencies and social services that my community offers. Lastly, I would like to thank my site supervisor, Dr. Amanda Aber, for my time at Arch. She made my time there a great learning experience. Any question I had, small or large, about policies, procedures, how something works, she was always able to answer it for me. I would also like to thank the other staff members of Arch who allowed me to accompany them when working with their clients. And I would like to thank them for the knowledge that they gave me on working with people in community based agencies.
Hello, my name is Juliana Hare and I'm an intern at Fairview Elementary School. I'm lucky enough to practice Spanish every single day that I'm there. I've always loved the language and began learning it at the age of 5. So to see this grow into such an amazing opportunity has given me so much purpose. Fairview Elementary is an amazing school that has taken the responsibility of teaching over 200 Hispanic children. They have gone above and beyond to ensure that the children and parents feel welcome in Southwest Louisiana. In this picture, the teachers are celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month, which allowed the students to talk about their home country and its traditions. Their mission statement could not be any more true because the staff at Fairview does everything in their power to be that safe space that students can come to and grow. My main purpose for going to Fairview Elementary was to become involved in the Spanish program they have. Ms. Cunningham, my internship supervisor, told me the needs of the school and assigned me to 3 kindergarten students who they seem to have the most trouble with as far as behavior. One of the boys has no parents here with him in the United States. He is alone with foster parents, so you can only imagine the stress, the loneliness, and the anger he has to have built up inside. What I do daily is work in the classroom with Hector and Josue, the 2 that are in the top picture, and Jovan is in the bottom picture. I make sure that they are sitting down, that they are doing their work, etc. It is hectic many times, and sometimes Hector will cry because he doesn't want to do his work. But it takes time, and eventually he'll warm up to me and he'll listen when I ask him to finish the assignment. The metrics in my specific internship, I think, could be measured by the teacher commenting weekly saying, wow, Hector is behaving so much better and he has completed his work on time with no complaints. Or Jovan hasn't had one outburst since you've been here, which he has not, which is amazing. Having someone he could talk to or trust in was very beneficial for him. I think by just physically seeing improvement would be the best metric to measure the outcomes. This infographic that I made for Fairview Elementary has a lot of information of what a parent should expect if he or she brings their child to this school. I've had extremely great experiences at the school, so I have many great things to say about the faculty, the students, and overall atmosphere. In the infographic, you can see that the school allows the students to dress up many weeks out of the school year to involve them and make school fun. I really loved this idea, and it was so much fun to see them all participate in their own creative ways. My favorite lab artifact by far was the one I did on the training of becoming a great leader. My site supervisor, she highly recommended that I completed this training because it's definitely needed, especially because this was my first actual public job. I majorly benefited from all the lessons the training taught me, and I was able to put this into effect immediately at the internship. I would honestly suggest this training to every single employee because, in my opinion, it is essential to a successful workplace. I've learned so much from being at Fairview for the past 4 months that it would be hard to tell just one. I was completely unaware, number one, that Fairview Elementary was even a school. and much less that they had such a large population of Spanish-speaking students and teachers. When I'm telling you they have it going on, they really do. I learned all what goes into having a bilingual school, such as having to translate every single bulletin that's on the wall, every single test, every single announcement, and every extracurricular activity such as art, library, or PE, etc. I didn't even think of that being an obstacle, but it's something that was extremely time-consuming and difficult. Another thing I learned was how to approach children who have behavior issues. I didn't realize that it would take so much time to get them to warm up to me because I'm a naturally outgoing person, so I just assumed they would love me right away. However, it did take time and consistency to create that bond and trust. My most powerful memory would have to be when Jovan, the one who would yell or cry if I even acted like I was going to help him with his work, he tapped on my shoulder and he asked, "Could you please help me with this problem?" And of course, I said yes. And so once I did, he said, "Thank you so much." And he gave me a hug. It was so rewarding because it proved that I had worked long enough with him that he felt comfortable asking me for help. Even the teacher was extremely shocked, and I think I'll always remember that. The second powerful memory that I have was a day that Hector, he refused to work and he was ripping up his paper. I ended up having to tell him that I was going to have to help somebody else if he was going to continue to act like a baby or, cry like that, which he did not like me saying that. But it took him about 25 minutes to realize that I was being serious when I didn't come back to his seat. And so he got up and he told me, "I'm so sorry," and he wanted my help. And sure enough, he did an incredible job and he finished all of his assignment. In my opinion, those 3 boys would have been my little projects, and I have loved to watch them grow and develop. It's a privilege to work with them. Lastly, I just want to say a huge thank you to my internship supervisor, Miss Laurie Cunningham at Fairview Elementary School. She not only has been a great leader, but she has inspired me to do more and to have a new love for the Spanish community here. She gives countless hours to get meals, to give uniforms, financial assistance, and medical advice to the parents of the students who go to Fairview, and I'm so thankful to know her. She's an amazing lady, and I hope I can remain friends with her forever. She's somebody that I definitely want on my side. I also want to say a quick thank you so much to Dr. Janelle White for all you do for us family science majors. We appreciate your hard work, and I'm so thankful to have the privilege of being your student. You work extremely hard to make these internships successful, and I can truthfully say that mine was perfect and I couldn't have had a better experience. I cannot wait for the future.
Hello, everyone. This semester, I was able to work with Doris and Clara Community Initiative. Hello, everyone. This semester, I was able to work with Doris and Clara Community Initiative. My name is Tamara Patton, and I am a DCCI program coordinator. So the goal for DCCI is to plan, coordinate, and oversee various programs and projects for organizations. So an overview of the program is to assist with planning and coordinations of programs and their activities, monitor implementations of programs, work to keep programs on schedule within their budget and functioning very smoothly, support program growth and development as necessary, coordinate program communication, manage program schedules and calendars, Administer or oversee community outreach. Coordinate interaction relationships between administrators and all other program stakeholders. Schedule and organize program related meetings and events. Create and maintain program records, reports, presentations, and proposals. Facilitate positive relationships between the program team and the public and all other involved parties. Manage marketing and communication. That is an overview of the DCCI and everything that I have been doing. Next is my logic model for DCCI. It includes the inputs, the outputs, the activities, the outcomes, and the impacts. DCCI offers to serve individuals in a community working to improve personal lives and enhance the community. We are in the SWLA area and we are here to change the world. Next is my lab artifact highlight. The unique activity, this is one of my favorites. It includes many different things related to DCCI. Next is the reflection. Doris and Clara Community Initiative helped me learn how to facilitate positive relationships between the public and other involved parties. I learned to provide appropriate solutions through programming and resource referral. This was an overall great experience and with great people. I would like to thank Ms. Sharonda Everett for the great experience. All of the new knowledge and skills is very appreciated. I enjoyed every moment of this experience.
I think Shayna is here now. Is that right? Maybe. Maybe not. Okay. So, okay, so now it's time to open up for a Q&A with all of the interns. Interns, please turn on your cameras now so that we can see you, and we ask also that all attendees keep your cameras off for the duration of the session so that we can focus on the interns. We also ask that all attendees leave your microphones off unless you are asking a question, and this will help us keep any unexpected sounds from distracting the rest of the session. If you have questions for one of the interns, please use the raise hand feature and I'll call on you if you'd like to ask a question. The raise hand feature is found in the meeting toolbar to the left of the red leave button. You can also raise your hand by clicking Control Shift and K at the same time. If you would prefer to type your question, feel free to type it in the session chat and I'll read it to the interns. Before we begin, I do want to remind everyone that this session is being recorded. I am going to start off with a question for Brittany. Was there something that you learned during your internship that was unexpected? Oh, we can't hear you.
A lot of it was the lack of decent and affordable housing in the area. I thought there would have been more, and then the ones that are, considered decent and affordable were not kept up. They were going down like into despair, and it wasn't trying to be fixed by the management that owned the apartment or the house.
I think those are great observations. I think many of the guests here in the call know that homelessness is my area of research. So I was especially interested in Brittany's work with Arch. And I believe one of the current staff members, one of the caseworkers, is one of our alumni also, which was really nice. So thank you for sharing that insight. Are there questions from any of our guests for any of our interns? Now I know all of our guests are not shy, so y'all think of some questions. I will go ahead and ask, let's see, Juliana, for you. Did your internship change how you view your career potentials?
It absolutely did. I was dead set, number one, before I did my internship, that I wanted to work as far as like counseling. I wanted to do it in the court system, and I wanted to work with that, like children in that area. And then once I started working with a school, I was not thinking that that would be something that I would fall in love with, but I have completely changed my opinion on what I want to do, and I could do what I just did for the past 4 months for the rest of my life. So I really was so happy that I got placed in that specific place, and I love it. I absolutely love going there.
That's wonderful. I'm so excited to hear that you enjoyed it so much. Um, I know we had some struggle at the very beginning finding a good placement for you, so it makes me happy that it ended up with such a great outcome. Roy asked a question in the chat, and she asked if anyone was offered a job.
I don't care to go first if they want. You can go first. You can go first.
I haven't been offered a job, but my internship is actually at my job. So I'm basically there all day, every day, and being at my job, I have got a better offer. Like if I was to stay longer after I graduate, I have better opportunities.
As far as mine, me and my site supervisor, she just talked to me this past week because they're going to do their budget, I think, in 2 weeks. And what you were talking about earlier with all of us before our internship, it would be awesome if they wanted to create a job for you because you've like they feel like you really are needed there. And she is going to step in for me and talk to the whole Calcasieu Parish School Board and seeing if I could be a social worker there for or a family life educator there in the school system. So that's awesome.
Ah, you're going to make me cry. I'm so excited for you. Brittany, go ahead.
I wasn't offered a job at Arch. My site supervisor is actually leaving in the next week or so, and she offered me a job at the new place she's going because with Arch, their funding for their direct service program is ending in August. So they're not going to have any case managers as of August.
I think that brings up a really great point about how networking is so important. And so building, doing a great job where you are in whatever setting, other people see you and they see your hard work and they see your commitment, they see your skills, and then that creates a network for you. So in this situation, you would, you won't be, that's not a career option to stay where you are right now. But because of people you met at your placement, you're able to network onto somewhere else. That's wonderful. We have a couple of questions in the chat, so let's see. Annette asked Juliana, what will happen next year with the students you work with? Like, will someone else be there for them? But I guess you kind of just answered it, the question also. Any additional response?
I don't know if I'm able to go there. I would love to work at Fairview. Um, so hopefully I would be there with them. And I actually have two more students that they were needing help with. And so there's more of a need that they see, like, because these three boys have truly changed and they've done so much better, and they realize how important it is for just one aide to be there, because the teacher can't focus on specific students, whenever she or he has an entire class to focus on. So I'm really hoping that I could be the person that they choose to go with, and help those three children plus more.
That's great. Let's see, the next question is from Lindsay, and she asked, is there anything in particular that y'all struggled with during your internship? And if so, how did y'all overcome it?
I am putting on a financial literacy program, and at first I struggled with finding speakers for the youth program. So I actually had to go on social media and contact people that I know to see if they would be interested, and it actually worked out pretty great. Social media, I had a lot of responses, and yeah, that was mainly my struggle, finding speakers for my financial youth program.
Thank you for sharing that. Do our other interns have thoughts?
For me, my biggest struggle was not knowing what to expect when I got there on how it would work. But once I got there, saw what they did, it was easier for me. I was able to fit in better and help them with their clients, and help them with their donation center too. That was pretty good too.
One thing that I mentioned in my video that I can mention again is how shocked I was, just because I haven't been able to work with children like that, how shocked I was that it took so much time to build trust and that bond between them. And the first day that I got there, one of the boys, the very first day I got there, one of those boys outburst in the middle of the hallway, was kicking the wall and screaming and crying, and that was my person I was trying to work with. And so they were like, go over there and talk to him. And I talked to him and tried, and he screamed and was pushing, and he didn't want to talk to me. And I was like, I'm not going to make any help. I'm not going to be any help here, because, whatever. And I just realized, it's just going to take time. It was discouraging because he didn't want me, and they were all looking, wanting me to make the difference. And I couldn't. It was my very first day. But now, like I told you that story of how he asked me for help, and afterwards he gave me a hug and he told me thank you, and he trusts me. It's awesome to see how I overcame that, and it's not a big deal anymore, and I have confidence.
Okay, let's see. So Juliana actually just answered this. Jade asked for all the interns, was there anything you learned that was a shock or surprise? So I think Juliana just answered that question in a different way. So what about the others?
For me, I don't think I had any really big shocks or surprises from my internship. Once I got there, some of the stuff afterwards, I expected it. When you're working with someone who lacks good housing, some of the stuff that does come up, it wasn't a surprise, not at all.
Any other comments from anyone? There's a few comments in the chat in response to Juliana's good news about a possible job down the line. Awesome, Juliana. Congratulations, Juliana. Very excited for you. Oh, I'm sorry. Very excited for you, Brittany, for getting to hop over to the new program. Great job, guys. Juliana, that change of perspective about a job was revelatory, wasn't it? That's from Dr. Elijah. Let's see, for everyone, how was y'all's first day at your internship? And then how did the kids or other participants react to y'all?
I can, Brittany, you go first.
Okay. My first day, it was pretty slow. I only interacted with my site supervisor and a couple of other people that worked there. I really didn't start seeing working with the clients until like maybe I was there for like 3 or 4 weeks. That way I was able to get comfortable with the case managers so they would trust me enough to go on those visits with them.
Tamara?
I was already comfortable with. I was familiar with everyone, my site supervisor. So my first day was pretty smooth.
Mine as well. The only thing I did the first day was meet all of those 3 students, and I just introduced myself, told them I was there. We played a few games on the iPad, just introduced ourselves, and then that big thing happened. So it was it was a great experience, interesting experience. So that was how my first day went.
Great. Danielle left a comment. She said, kudos, guys, with the clappy hands. Let's see. Dr. Elijah asked Thamira a question. He asked, you stated your internship was at your workplace, but compared to your work responsibilities, have your responsibilities changed for the internship?
At my job, I work with children. It has changed because I have been working on a program, so that's totally different from working with kids. I'm still working with people like younger people, young adults, asking them questions. I have done interviews. So it has changed a little bit in a way. I'm still working with people.
I'll piggyback off of your answer. One of the things I enjoy about working with interns is learning so much about different programs and communities. And so when I first started talking to Tamara, she was working at the daycare portion of their organization, and so I got to learn a lot more about the umbrella of all of the things that they do in their community, which was amazing in the Jennings community. And so it was really exciting to watch how the financial literacy program started to blossom into an opportunity for her. So I'm really happy for you. Let's see. Other comments. Annette says, comment, not question. Juliana, I hope you will be there too. Sounds like you're calling. Brittany, great job. And Thamira, wow, financial youth program. Awesome. So yay. Jennifer says, Thamira, how can parents find this financial youth program? How are they recruited?
Parents to come to the, do you mean like coming to the program? How can parents come to the program?
I think how can parents find the program? Like if they wanted to enroll their kid in a program or in the activities, and then how do y'all recruit? Like how do y'all actively get the word out into the community? That's
I
how
have
I.
made flyers and brochures, and so I mentioned that I work there. I have a registration form that I have in the front when parents come in and bring their kids every morning. They're allowed to check out everything that I have done throughout the intern. So I have registration forms that is in the front for the adult program, the youth program. So I have pretty much everything available with the parents that comes in already to bring their kids at the daycare. Other people through social media.
Great. Great. I believe Lisa has a question for everyone.
Hi, yes, I actually just put it in the chat, so I'll go back and read it. I said, is there anything throughout your internship you wished you could have done differently that would have positively impacted your experience?
How about Brittany? Why don't you start?
I don't think I would have done anything differently. I felt that the whole experience was positive. If I had to change anything, it would be probably working a little bit more with the clients, because a lot of the times you're visiting them either in their home, or if they were homeless, it was usually at a hotel, usually on the outside of their room, things like that. I would like to do a little bit more of that, but that was probably it though.
As far as mine, sorry, I'm in a hotel and people are talking. But as far as mine, I think that I would have done like a professional, like written down, like needs assessment, because I did that. You do that already just by asking people stuff. But if I would have written that down and then had the two teachers that are over those children, if I would have had them write out like a before survey or something, a pre-survey, and then now how they feel about the children, I would have had that written down. And I wish I could have done that, because now it's just by word of mouth, which is still good because they can see the difference and they comment and say they've really have changed and they've done great. But if I would have had that written down, that would have been so much better.
To respond to what Juliana was just saying, that's one of the reasons metrics are so important, because it's a way to start at the beginning and to say, okay, what kind of change might I see? So let's get it documented at the beginning, and then at the end you can go back and you have uh, measurable outcomes. You are able to show this is the change that happened. So those of y'all who are rising into the internship in the next year, when you go into your methodology class, make sure to keep that in mind. Samira, did you have any response?
I definitely agree with Juliana. I actually I don't know if my phone is frozen or not. I actually don't think I should have done anything differently. I'm still in the process. I haven't did my financial literacy program just yet, but I feel like I'm on the right path so far.
So the next question is from Jennifer, and she asked if each of y'all would share 2 specific skills that you learned on site.
I can go first. Um, I would say one. Um, if you don't want to go, I I have my first one, but I don't have my second one. if you know first.
I would just say for me, it's communication. I'm not really the best with communicating with people, but I have gotten really better with that, and also reaching out to work with others. I've got really better at that because I'm not the best.
For me, it's asking questions. That's one thing I learned I got better at because usually I try to figure out myself. And working for my internship, it's hard. You can't really figure some of the stuff you can't figure out by yourself. You have to ask somebody. And I think that was the main thing. I really didn't have everything else I was okay with, but the asking of the questions, that's where I know I struggle with. But being there to get a lot of the information, it was asking the questions, and that's how I really got a lot of it.
And then what my two I think would be, number one, I would truly suggest the training, the becoming a successful leader or a great leader on nonprofitready.org. That really helped me see like how to really take action and be proactive and all that stuff, because sometimes there's not other people there and you have to make decisions, and if you don't know how to be a good leader or to make good decisions, then you mess it up. So one skill that I learned was, I have to take action and know what I'm talking about, and that really helped me just have good skills on that. And then my second is definitely, like you said, like communication, just being able to relate to the kids, because they're not the same age as you, so you have to talk to them in a certain way. You can't relate on college or anything. So it was really neat to challenge myself and talk to them and relate to them. That's what I learned.
Great insight from all of y'all. Thank you. Another question is, what advice do y'all have for future interns?
Be confident. That's my advice. Just be confident.
Mine would be the same thing, and be confident and trust in yourself. Because if you don't believe in yourself, then you're going to struggle because you keep doubting yourself throughout the whole process.
I agree. Always stay confidence and keep pushing. Never give up.
Great advice from all of y'all. Dr. Elijah has put a reminder in the chat for everyone to consider coming to the Family Science Virtual Job Fair, which is going to be on Monday, April the 25th from 6 to 8. There are going to be four of the larger social service organizations from the Lake Charles area will be there. All four of them are currently recruiting new staff members as caseworkers and program staff. And so if you're in the Lake Charles area looking for a job, of course, it's a good thing. But even if you're not in the Lake Charles area and you're not looking for a job, it still is valuable because you can come and learn more about what social services look like in the community. And they'll be there to answer questions and, just to make sure everyone knows about the work that they do. So thank you, Dr. Elijah, for reminding everyone. Let's see. So what is one lesson that each of you will carry with you from your internship experience into the future? Let's start with Thamira.
My phone keeps freezing. Can you repeat the question? I'm sorry. I don't know what's going on.
No problem. The question was, what is one lesson that you will carry with you from your internship into your future?
Um, to always listen to others' advice that they give to you. Um, always taking into consideration, you can't always believe that whatever you feel is always the right way. Always think about what someone else says. Give always think about someone else's advice that they give to you.
Brittany?
Um, I'm still thinking on it. I don't, because there wasn't one specific thing. I know for me, my site supervisor, we discussed what would happen in my education after I finish, and she said, don't wait. If you're gonna go like to grad school, to go ahead and do it. I know that was something that I took into consideration, and I'm not sure if I'm going to do it or not, but it is something that she mentioned more than one time to me.
I can definitely see that. Um, when you stop, when you're going to school and then you take a break before you go to grad school, it can be hard, like to step back into that world. Um, but also, don't feel pressured. So anyone, we put that out there as an option for students because we want everyone to know the possibilities. We want y'all to know the potential pathways forward. We don't ever want any of y'all to not see what could be your future. We definitely want y'all to see all of the options. But likewise, we also don't want people to feel pressured because grad school isn't for everyone, right? I mean, I never thought I was going to go on to grad school. And later on, I realized that I was wrong. But that's not the case for everyone. And so it's expensive. It's expensive. It takes a lot of time. So making sure that you give yourself space to make those decisions without feeling like all of these pressures from people around you, it's important that you do take time to determine and to discern for yourself what's the best. So I'm glad you're taking some time to ponder that. Juliana, what was your response?
I would say that everyone has a story. Everyone is equally as important. Um, just I loved seeing all of the different stories and how they're so awesome. It was really life changing. Just everyone has their own story and they're all equally as awesome.
Great. So the next question is, I'm going to ask y'all for each to give us a piece of advice, but this time focused on students who are not yet interns. So in the period of time before they even get to that place, when they're still working on coursework, what advice do you have for them?
Are you talking about like when, like if they're thinking about the internship or just simply the coursework?
Well, if I would say during their courses, what advice do you wish you had been given back, a year and a half ago before it was time to become an intern? What do you wish you maybe had done differently that now looking back you think, oh man, I missed out on that?
If I didn't answer this correctly, I'll just ask you this real quick. I didn't really like have anything that I didn't that I would change because I really have benefited from the program. But I didn't have an internship when I felt like everyone else did when they were supposed to start. My first week when everyone started, I didn't start. I still didn't have any place where I was going to go. I had no idea. So I would say like that really was discouraging, or it made me nervous thinking I was going to be behind. But I would tell them, like, if that happens to you, everything will work out and it'll be better than what you were going to originally do. That's what I think. If I didn't answer that correctly, I can change my answer.
No, I think it's a great answer. It really is. And yes, we did struggle, right, at the very beginning trying to find the right placement. And we tried organization after organization and it just didn't fit. But I kept telling you, it's okay. It'll work out. It really, really will work out. And obviously it has for you. So yeah, I think that's a common stress, especially when all your classmates are getting started and then you're just kind of sitting there like, so great advice. What about Brittany and Thamira? What would y'all say?
For me, it would be that all the coursework in the family science classes, they actually do help when you go towards your internship. Because I know, like, some people feel, what am I going to use this for when they take classes? I'm never going to use it. And I found that I used a lot of the stuff that I learned in the classes. When it goes to like helping people understanding their point of view, their needs, things like that.
From my experience, I can say plan correctly. When it comes down to scheduling everything, the family science classes, statistics, everything, plan correctly. I have like an overload right now. You have to be ready for the internship and everything else. Just plan and be ready for everything.
I think that's really great advice. Really great. It's hard. Even in the best of situations, balancing school and work or family is a challenge. But add the internship on top of that, and it can be a lot. So yeah, thank you for that. Let's see. Mandy has a piece of advice. Mandy is one of the other interns, and she says, I have a piece of advice for during coursework. And she says, don't be afraid to ask questions. Develop a relationship with Dr. White and Dr. Elijah, and don't be scared to ask questions when you are unsure. And I would definitely agree. Dr. Elijah and I, y'all think y'all are bothering us, but we love it when y'all have questions because that means you care. It means that you're trying to learn and to grow, and we love it. I mean, I'm not speaking for him, but just saying. Let's see. Dr. Elijah has a question.
Yes. My question was, I heard you saying that, not you, Dr. White, but I think it's Tamara that said, you have to plan your coursework, your internship. And so I have two pieces, two parts. One, how much more compared to a regular 3 credit hour course, how much more internship has taken? How much more time? 50%, 80%, or maybe 2 times more?
I would say 80%. It's tough, but I'm getting through it. Everybody told me not to do it, but I went ahead and do it, and I think I'm doing a good job so far.
Anybody else would say, what was your impression of your internship?
I would say the 80% too, because for me, it was the days I went for my internship. Those were the days that I would usually have for myself to sit down, usually do my normal coursework. Since I don't have that time, it made it a little bit harder to plan out how I was going to do everything. And I had to do stuff later on in the week versus at the beginning of the week like I usually do.
That's exactly what happened for me too. That was Tuesdays and Thursdays, the 2 days I go to the school were my days to sit down and do schoolwork. And the other days I'm pretty much busy all day long. And so it's been really tough to fit that in into my schedule.
Well, thank you. So my second question then, there is a piece of information to get into the internship. you have to complete the methodology course to, 423 methods of family life education and practice in the fall semester, and internship is in the spring. So I always advise students not to take overloads for the spring semester. But that does not mean that they can take an overload for the fall semester to release their credit hours from the spring, because the fall semester contains, I say, the most difficult course in family science, the methodology course. But obviously it is not hard. It just, you have to do the work, right? Dr. White, am I correct? Okay, thank you. So my question is this. I mean, um, would you suggest students who are interested in majoring in family science take not 12 credit hours, but 15 credit hours earlier in their program, like when they're taking 100 level courses, 200 level courses? Would that be a feasible solution to release extra time in the spring semester when the internship will be? Okay, we already see yes. Uh,
I think I took 15 credits every single semester. And still have to take 15 in the fall and 15 in the spring, or had to take 15 in the fall and 15 in the spring. Is that, I'm thinking maybe that's because my minor. Is it because of minor, or?
Well, also you were an accelerated program, so you weren't in our program as long, which I think is
Okay.
kind of factors into it.
Okay.
Because Juliana finished her bachelor's in 3 years versus 4 years, so that really I think influences how long or how many hours to take.
Okay, because I was like, well, I had to take 15 every time. But yes, I would definitely suggest doing a lot in the beginning, and instead of having a lot now. I would take like 12 now, if possible, as little as you can. But
I
Um,
agree. I would try to get everything before, take 15 hours before, and then it'll be less you have to deal with at the end.
For me, it's the same thing. I feel like you can do the 15 hours. Then also there are the option to take some of the like the math, the Englishes, also to take it during the summer too. That'll also alleviate your coursework. You can take one or two classes during the summer if you don't want to take the full 15 during the fall. Because I know I did that.
And that's really what's reflected in the chat also. So many of the current and former interns are yes, 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 take summer classes. Don't leave it to the end. So we are out of time. So I'm going to end the session. When I end the session, it'll take you back to wherever it is that you started. You can click into the final session, which is the panel with our former interns. We have 3 alumni who have come back to share their experiences with us. So I definitely encourage you to do that. Thanks for joining us today, and I hope to see y'all in the panel session. Bye, everyone.